my 20s and into my 30s, my life was on autopilot, waking up for work after an average of 4 hours of drunken sleep each night and slapping the alarm, going through the emotions of what I called a normal life. Slap the alarm at 6 a.m., drag myself to the shower, or just splash some water on my face and use a washcloth, as I was usually in a hurry. Brush my teeth, head out the door, holding my head from the spinning and the pounding nightmare of a hangover that was going to get worse throughout the day. As I stumbled down the street towards the train station and towards the only thing I was looking forward to at 7 a.m. on a weekday, the 90-minute commute to the city. Yes, sleep. I slept so hard on those train rides. Once I woke myself up out of a drunken sleep, I was leaning all the way into the aisle, mouth open, drool, everything. As I moved myself back up into my seat, I couldn't help but feel the whiskey sweat all over my body as I slumped back down and fell asleep and feeling ashamed. Another time on the train, I woke myself up out of a haze with a very loud fart. And I immediately looked around. I'm like, did anybody else hear that? And it was a little Twilight Zone moment. I was the only one on the train. Holy shit. I got to get off the train. I'm at the station. Time to go to work. Binge drinking was in my blood. I grew up in the Midwest. It's just what we did. I was surrounded by people who drank daily and often, and I saw it as normal, and it became the thing that I endured at all costs. I grew rugged and rough around the edges. I drank to blackout many nights, and I would hear stories of things I did for days or weeks after. You would think after getting alcohol poisoning at 16 years old, I would never drink again. By the time I was 19, I was drinking every day. I was not a fully expressed human being yet at that point. I only gave myself permission to express myself when alcohol was involved. Alcohol was my excuse to make extremely stupid decisions. And it was my get out of jail free card in a way. I used the I was drunk alibi to get out of a lot of sticky situations. That first decade, from 19 to 29 years old, I was sloppy. But that second decade of drinking, I got professional. I learned that I could supplement my drinking with amphetamines. And this meant that I could drink for longer periods of time, and I told myself that I could be more coherent and still get wasted somehow. I knew deep down that that level of drinking was not maintainable. And I had a mini epiphany when I was 32 years old as I sat there drunk. I heard a voice buried very deep within me whispering out, Gayle, take some pictures of yourself. Document what you look like right now, because one day you are going to get through this and you're going to want to look back and see how far you've come. And you're going to rejoice or something. I didn't really know what that meant. I just knew I had to take these pictures. So I listened and I took the pictures. And initially, I didn't want to show them to anyone. In fact, I almost deleted them immediately after I took them, but I didn't. I held on to them. And the truth is, I do look back on those now as a reminder how far I have come from that extremely sad, depressed, suicidal, angry, confused young woman who felt she did not have a voice. And more importantly, didn't trust that she knew how to use it. Back then, I did not know how to express myself or to calm myself or to be with people unless alcohol was involved. That tiny voice that I heard when I took those pictures was urging me to take good care of myself so that I could have a chance at a great life. I began pouring myself into my career. I started working out. I even quit smoking cigarettes. For me, at that time, I had been smoking over 18 years already. And I was the person that said out loud many times, I will never quit smoking. Inside, I heard, who the hell am I without cigarettes anyway? I was at about 2 packs a day when I quit. So naturally, I started running instead. My practice runs were quickly totaling 15 to 20 miles a week. That's not counting any of the races. And I formed a new reward. Go for a run and then start drinking. The amphetamines were my fuel. I told myself that they helped me move through my hangovers more easily. Those little suckers got me moving. Before I knew it, I was climbing the corporate ladder, making more and more impact in my corporate career. And then 2016 happened. That's the year I fell deepest in it. My body was bloated. My mind was confused more than ever. My emotions were completely out of whack. I was stressed to the max. I was pushing harder than ever to perform in my executive sales career and in my life, trying to look like I had my shit together. Turns out I couldn't hide anymore. I was hiding bottles, and I was taking secret swigs of freezer vodka, chugging whole beers, sneaking shots when people weren't looking, so they didn't see how much I was actually drinking. My entire life was a crumbling facade. One night, as I stood in my living room, swaying with my 5th or 6th drink in my hand and slurring some randomness in my husband's direction, he stopped in the doorway, and he turned and he looked at me, and he said, "I think you have a drinking problem." They say that you hear something at least 3 times before it clicks. I knew that was not the first time I heard that. And I stood there swaying and stunned, not knowing what to say. So I shrugged it off with a, "Yeah, probably," or something like that. And I continued to change the subject throughout the evening because I had become astute at doing that. But it had me. It was like a bolt of lightning. Boom. It hit me. There was no way I was able to not see this now. It was bringing back a conversation that had been screaming within me for decades. This was finally my chance to stop fucking around and heal myself. And it scared the shit out of me. I did not know what to do, but I was going to do it anyway. As I leaned into the idea of sobriety, I chose not to go into a program. Instead, I said, I'm going to focus on healing my physical body. I found an acupuncturist who was my healer and my coach, and I went all in on my life. I just surrendered to trust that this was all going to work out somehow. And I found myself drinking only 6 days a week instead of 7, and then 5 days a week, and then 4. And then when I got to 3 days a week, I thought, holy, this is a miracle. And then for a tiny second, I thought, wait, maybe I can manage this. I can still have 5 Manhattans a day, right? But only 3 days a week. I got it. But I knew better. Alcohol was consuming me, not the other way around. There were days I didn't know if I was going to make it. There were moments that ticked by so slowly, I didn't know if I was going to drink or if I was going to die. But I didn't do either of those things. I held on. And right before my 40th birthday, I got sober. February 3rd, 2017. If anybody's counting, that's 24 years of drinking. It's now been 6.5 years without alcohol, amphetamines, or cigarettes. And I'm still amazed every day, walking to work, walking anywhere without a hangover. Loving my life and myself has been the biggest blessing. I even healed my body so deeply. I was able to conceive naturally, something doctors told me was not going to happen. It was outside of the realm of possibility. I became a mom at 42 years old. I made a choice in my most vulnerable of moments to heal myself. And then I made another choice, and another choice, and another, until I recognized that I had formed new habits based on where I desired to be, not based on what was right in front of me. This is a mindset shift. It sounds simple, right? Focus on your desires, not your circumstances. That's simple. It is, and it is not. It will take everything you've got some days, especially in the beginning. And it is worth every second. Thank you.